My biggest win with the journey has been that inner peace and just that fundamental knowing that I've got full purpose and a great deal more happiness.
That was amazing for me and actually for my whole family. Allowed us to keep this open mind on life and to open to all the opportunities.
I have so much more freedom and self-connection and health and vibrancy. I just feel more alive.
The journey helped me to understand what my emotions are, not to be scared of them.
It changed my life. It cleared all blocks and brought into my consciousness what my heart's desire was.
Now I feel my life is easier. I feel stronger, feel what I feel and find a new solution.
To be free from the burden on my shoulders. I live in the moment now and I'm open to my emotions from the highest to the lowest.
Until the journey, I didn't really know that I could get to the same depths without using any substance. It's getting easier and easier to connect to the deepest part of myself.
Probably the biggest improvement is my inner life or my inner freedom to be as myself, in myself, not being a victim of circumstances and the other people.
The journey has really been a second chance in life for me. Having permission to dive deep and find out who the real authentic me was and just to be that person has just been wonderful.
When you listen to yourself and when you really touch your soul, something magical happens.
Life is different because of the journey. I feel I have all the tools I need to face whatever life throws at me. Life has become fun.
My biggest win was healing a broken heart, and not once, many times. I would never have been able to be in the position that I am in now had it not been for the journey.
Befriending myself in really accepting who I am, that I am perfectly imperfect and I don't need fixing.
I've gained so much. So there is no one big win. If it had to be named as one thing, I would just say it's life-changing.
It's changed my world, it's changed my life, it's changed me. And it's allowed me to be open and vulnerable and completely transparent.
My biggest win as a result of using the journey would definitely be my ability to network and expand upon the goals that I've had for such a long period of time.
My biggest win since attending the Journey Intensive has been finding myself. It has been healing, transforming.
I am just so much more receptive and open to whatever God has planned for me. At the very core of me, being able to experience that peace has been priceless.
A wonderful, wonderful good evening, everybody, and welcome. I can see that there are everyone from covering all of Europe here, so a heartfelt welcome. And just as we heard all of the voices here, probably you may have noticed in the accents and dialects that they too came from all across Europe and further afield. So a heartfelt welcome. My name is Gabby Burt. I'm International Director for the Journey and have been with Brandon for 27 years now. It's been a rich time, a profoundly transformative time and rewarding time to see so many life changes and life transformations. And especially this time, it feels like some of the challenges that we received really reached the heart, you know, so much happening. And, you know, Brandon saw all of them too. And so we're going to go through how to reduce stress and anxiety at times like this, and the journey can help. And so I also wanted to say that we have a very, very special giveaway today, a lottery. So for anyone who is staying to the end, we will draw a free place for the next upcoming Journey Intensive. So please stay here and I'll see you again when Brandon completes. But first of all, let us welcome Brandon for our today's discovery session live on anxiety and stress. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby, and a heartfelt welcome to everyone calling in tonight. And I have to say, I've been very moved by the emails you've sent in, the challenges you're facing. And I love the theme for tonight because it's about getting to the true cause of what is causing the anxiety, the stress, and even the burnout in our lives. And it's been such a variety of different challenges that you've written in about, with everything from having cancer and treatment in the vocal cords, and yet not knowing if you want to go back to work anymore, and chronic fatigue. And one woman with she has uterine fibroids and has a lump in her chest, and she doesn't know yet in her breast that if it's cancerous or not. And so we have all the physical challenges that people have been facing. And there's also a large amount of you were facing major emotional trauma and emotional stress. In the form, there was one woman who wrote in that she's a 61-year-old grandmother. And unfortunately, her grandchildren, her two, male grandchildren, 13 and 15, had to be given up from foster care because they had domestic challenges in the household, and there was household abuse and trauma. And of course, she didn't want them to go to strangers, so she took them on at her age. And she herself experienced as a child trauma and abuse. And of course, the children are traumatized. And they're both triggering one another and living in this cauldron of stress where they're triggering her old traumas as well as acting out on theirs. And it's this kind of stress. One teacher wrote in about burnout, where after all these years of being a teacher, she completely got burned out and got chronic fatigue, which often happens when you burn out. And so, we're all wanting to find out what is the real, true cause of what is causing this emotional stress in my life. I know the circumstances can be quite severe, as I've shared with you some of the more severe circumstances. Some people, they feel that no matter how many jobs they apply for, they already feel such a failure inside that they cannot seem to win the position, because inside they're projecting that outwards. And so it can have everything to do with your career, with your home life. One woman was saying that she really wants to heal with her daughter and finally make sure her daughter knows that she loves her. And yet, with all of these circumstances, no matter how diverse they've all seemed, that there is a true cause that's inside. And that even with the physical issues that seem like they're externally caused, that what science will tell you is that when you feel a strong emotion and you repress it, it releases into the bloodstream a quantifiable biochemistry, which will go to certain cell receptors and block them, rendering those cells incapable of communicating with the rest of the cells in the body. And if over time illness happens, well, of course it happens, where the cells are blocked. And what science has also found, that when you feel your emotions very naturally and openly, freely like a child does, that our cell receptors remain open. And so what has been postulated, and has since been verified by all of science, is that when we do this action where we don't know how to respond to the trauma that our grandchildren are going through, we don't know how to respond to the estrangement with our daughter, with the chronic fatigue, to the burnout, to the fear of having this, that it might be cancer in the breast, and none of us were given a manual. How do you deal with this kind of what seems externally caused issue? And so when we are at the height of our fear, our stress, our devastation, our burnout, our feelings of worthlessness, when we are at the height of that, not knowing how to cope, what we do is we shut down. And that biochemistry is released. And it goes to those certain cellular locations. And What the journey has been able to do is to help people go on a journey inside your body to get to these emotional blocks, to get to the cell memories that are stored inside. And what science has found is that before that blocked cell dies, it passes on its programming, its consciousness, its cell memory to the next cell generation. So the next cell generation is born as an exact replica of the previous cell generation. And when I went in, I was diagnosed with what turned out to be a basketball-sized tumor. And when I was in the doctor's office and she'd gone through the whole diagnosis, she said, it probably started as one cell when you were about 8 years old that then replicated into 2 cells. And by the time I got to the doctor's office, I was looking like I was about 6 months pregnant, though I knew that wasn't the case. And the cells had started growing exponentially, aggressively. And so by the time I got there, it was this massive tumor. And so many of us are not only afraid of the stress that we're experiencing, but we're also afraid that it could end up manifesting as disease down the line. And what my prayer is for all of us is that all of us have this opportunity to really get to the emotional root cause of what is causing the stress in our life. And to make it very simple, let's say you're in traffic and someone cuts you off. And this happened, I just read in the newspaper today in the Telegraph, that there was a man who had such road rage, it triggered such as road rage, that there was a motorcyclist that he rammed the motorcyclist, and the motorcyclist went tumbling off the bridge in serious injury. But that motorcyclist didn't put the rage inside of that man. That rage was already there. All that the motorcyclist did was push the buttons of that man. And the rage that was already stored inside the body came up, and then the result was this big ramming accident. And all of us have these cell memories stored inside of us. I can remember part of the gift of my own healing journey was that I was given a month to see if somehow I could heal naturally. And I was already in the field of complementary medicine, and I had studied and been accredited in so many different areas, but no one had given us a method. How do you get to the emotional root cause of what is co-creating the illness in the first place? And part of the gift of my own healing journey was I found a means for all of us to go on a journey inside the body. And literally, I ended up inside my tumor. And the cell memory that I uncovered there, I thought, I know all about this. I'm a therapist in life. And it was childhood trauma and domestic violence that I uncovered there. And I thought, I went through 8 years of therapy on this whole issue of childhood abuse. I've so long since come to a place of acceptance. And so my arrogant therapist thinking mind that knew that it knew everything, I realized that maybe there was something deeper I needed to uncover. And I realized that there was a big journey between accepting what's happening to you in your life and going through a radical process of releasing that trauma, letting go all the consciousness that's attached to that cell memory, and coming to a deep understanding of what took place, and ultimately through a deep process of the journey of forgiveness. And so if I had to say in a nutshell, what is the journey? The journey actually is a process that you undergo, where you roll up your sleeves and go on a journey inside your body to get to these old repressed cell memories. And you get access to it, and you go through a deep process of releasing what was stored there in the cells and recognizing and understanding what's taken place. You go through a place of complete letting go and ultimately forgiveness. Forgiveness of yourself, of others, of life. And something profound happens when you forgive. That's when you let go of this whole story of pain, so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. And so right now, the journey is being used all over the world by medical doctors and in hospitals, by psychiatrists, psychologists, from people from all walks of life. And in Israel, there are actually 3 hospitals that are using the journey that, let's say you have some sort of cancer treatment. After you've received the cancer treatment, you'll spend a week in what they call the recovery center, where part of the process you will undergo is the journey, which is centered to the recovery, because you get to the emotional root cause of what co-created the cancer in the first place. Same is true with heart disease. Once you've undergone whatever heart treatment, then you're going to find out what co-created emotionally that heart disease. Same with fibromyalgia and multiple sclerosis. They're getting to the emotional root cause, and what they're finding, they're actually creating a documentary, hopefully to be aired on Netflix about it, that when you get to the actual cell memory, the true emotional root cause of what's creating your surface stress, anxiety, or illness, and you clear it out at that deepest level, then when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. And so that is what the gift of the journey truly is. So instead of looking to the external circumstances, we look to the internal root cause. Now, some of you wrote in that you've been working on yourself for years and had a longing to come to a place of peace inside. And you heard some of the people who spoke just briefly before we started, how they'd found a sense of peace. They'd come home to a sense of authenticity. And there's 2 aspects of the journey. One is you undergo this journey of going inside and literally in a practical, gentle, but very real way, uncovering what's buried inside your body and going through that profound process of release and letting go. The second aspect of the journey is getting in touch with the infinite intelligence of the body, the part of you that makes your heart beat and your eyes shine and your hair grow. This vast field of love, of freedom, of pure awareness that you came in as. And what science will tell us is that when we are born, and in the first weeks of our life as an infant, we feel ourselves to be part of and in everything, one with everything, as a vast field of love, of connection, of peace. As a matter of fact, when mother's hand comes before the infant's eyes, the infant will feel mother's hand as being part of itself. That's how vast this infinite field of love is that you came in as. But unfortunately, through the course of life's natural pains and trials, and it could be something as simple as you're 3 years old and you're crying about something, and your mother says, come on, we've got to dry our tears, we've got to get to nursery school. And that younger you gets it. Oh, I'm not allowed to feel, at least not those feelings that have the tears. And the first involuntary, automatic shutdown happens. Or it can be the kind of things I can remember when I was 8 years old. We were very domestically challenged. We had a very violent household. And part of the way that I used to escape was into my books. And I became a good reader, because if you love books as much as I loved reading the children's books, of course you became a good reader and a good speller. And so we had this contest for all the children that were in grade school, that it was a countywide contest where thousands of students were coming together from all the different grade schools in the area. And I was chosen as a third grader to represent our class, our elementary school. And so we were in this big auditorium with the thousands of teachers and parents and students. And I was on stage, and I'd already spelled 3 difficult words. And then they gave me one of the simplest words in the English language, the word fleet. Now, I'd never seen the word fleet in any of my children's books, but I had seen the word flea, an insect. And I stood there and I said, F-L-E-A-T, and the whole stadium was hushed. And all at once, it erupted into laughter. Now, no one had given me a manual. How do you deal with mass humiliation in front of all your friends and all the parents and teachers? And I looked to my mom, who was sitting in the 3rd row, for her support. And she looked back at me as if I was the greatest disappointment in her life, and just shook her head and went, and it was like this wall just came slamming down inside of me. And I'd retreated to the back of the stage where the other losers were. And that day, I decided I'm so stupid. I'm just a laughing stock. I'll never be good at anything. I'll never achieve anything. I'm just too stupid. And it's like this, layer upon layer of emotional shutdown upon layer. I can remember I was 16 and I got this massive crush on what was my first love. And I stupidly tried to impress him. And of course, the more I tried to impress him, the greater fool I was making of myself. And I watched the first love in my life literally running out of my life, and I was running after him. And of course, that day, I just shut down. I decided I'm so unattractive that boys will just run from me. I'll never find someone that I'm attracted to that will love me. I'm just not worthy of love. And it's like this, layer upon layer upon layer of these shutdowns. Now, I had no idea at the time that when I was shutting down emotionally, it was releasing that biochemistry into my bloodstream and going to those specific cellular locations and blocking the cells, and that programming, that buried pain, that shut down emotion was being passed on from one cell generation to another. I didn't know that. But what I do know, and we've traveled to 39 countries in the world, We're offering this work in 22 different languages. And with all the countries I go to, it doesn't matter what the cultural beliefs, religious beliefs, what country it is, as adults, we're all trained that we put on this mask and we cover this whole mess of all the layers of the pain and the shutdowns. And we present this mask to the world that says, you know, I'm reliable, I'm dependable, you can count on me. And then we wonder why it is. Everyone thinks we're so full of, and you can finish that sentence. And then, if you're very lucky, life gives you a wake-up call. Now, these wake-up calls can come in so many forms. In the form of the 61-year-old who's having to raise teenagers, who's exhausted. The form of the chronic fatigue, the teacher with burnout, the people with cancer. It can come in the form of a loss of a loved one, or in a Gaza and Israel war, or Ukraine war. It can come in the form of a divorce. These wake-up calls come in so many forms, and from reading all of what you've written, it sounds like most of you are getting the wake-up call. Where for a moment you crack through this mask, this hardened veneer that you're presenting to the world, and you end up spontaneously opening down through the layers of the lies, the pain, the shutdown, the traumas. And eventually you end up opening into your own soul, into this vast field of peace, of love, of pure awareness, this enlightened awareness that you came in as. And you realize it's been there all along. Only like me, you bought into all the layers that covered it. And if you get to be very lucky, you fall so in love with this truth inside yourself, with this peace that's there, that like me, you will do anything to clear whatever blocks you, whatever holds you back, whatever shuts you down on any level of being, so that this radiant presence that is your essence can live your life. So if I had to say, what is the journey all about? It's about getting real. It's about cracking through this phony mask we're presenting to the world. Opening down through the layers of the pain, the lies, the limitations, the shutdowns, and opening into the infinite presence of your own soul. And it's at that deepest level that you turn the flashlight on, the torch on, and you're guided by your own truth into cellular locations where you uncovered that old buried pain that you shut down. And you undergo a deep and quite profound process of letting go, of allowing all that pain that you suppressed to be finally released, let go of. You come to a genuine understanding of what's happened to you in your life, and ultimately to forgiveness of yourself, of life, of each other, of God. Then something profound happens in that forgiveness, where it's almost as if your soul says, okay, I'm ready now to let go this whole story of pain. And when the new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. And you find yourself feeling so in love with this truth that you continue to clear whatever blocks you, holds you back, whatever stresses you, you're willing to get real and get to the emotional root cause and clear it out at that deepest level. Now, I would love to be able to take you through the whole journey intensive, which is a 3-day immersion, so I could really help you to learn the whole processes and undergo and experience the kind of freedom that everyone was speaking about before we started. But obviously, in this one session, it cannot be done. But I still would like to invite you to join me in going on a journey inside your body, to begin to learn to befriend your body. Learn how to begin to listen to what the body is trying to tell you. Learn to open with what you're feeling emotionally, because it's there in the body that is you'll find the true cause of what's co-creating your surface stress. So even though I can't take you through that 3-day immersion right now, I still would love to take you into a guided introspection so that you have a means of beginning to take, your little steps towards this journey with healing your life, healing your body, healing with your emotions, and healing spiritually with your own soul. So if you'd like to join me, let's all take a nice deep breath in and sigh it out and closing the eyes, and breathing in a breath of openness and blowing that into your room. And the willingness just to open with your own self and go on this very gentle toe dip into beginning befriending your body and listening to it, uncovering what it has to say, feeling what's there. So this willingness to feel, breathing that willingness into your room. And trust in yourself, in life, in your own soul, and its desire for you to heal. Trusting in your soul. Breathing that trust into the room. And we'll do this little divine experiment together and give it a shot. You've got nothing to lose but some old baggage and everything to gain by beginning this process of communicating with your body. And so letting your heart right now be as wide as the world. Wide enough to welcome all of the emotions that have lived inside of you. That's how vast this vast open sky of all acceptance is. And it's spacious and vast and open in front of you. It's spacious and empty and free behind. It's endlessly vast and infinite to all sides of you. And you're just resting here in this open sky of all acceptance. And now turning your gaze inside the body. And you already know this, the body is filled with all kinds of emotions. And some of our emotions, they're like little kids, Some of our emotions are loud and attention seeking, always trying to get our attention. Others of our feelings are shy and scared of us. And like a little rejected child, some of your emotions, you've rejected them so many times, they don't even come up anymore. They don't trust you anymore. They feel scared of the rejection. And so welcoming all of the feelings that live inside of you right now. And you might even say you're sorry for having pushed them away and rejected them so many times. And then going inside your body and locating an area right now where there's a little bit of tension or stress or holding or hiding going on, where there's some sort of contraction happening or heldness, locating that area where there's a little bit of tension or contraction going on. Go to that area and take a deep breath in of acceptance. And now flooding that area with acceptance, letting it soften and be marinated and tenderized and opened. And if there were an emotion hiding there, I wonder what that feeling might be. Might be as quiet as a whisper, but if there were a feeling there, what might it be? Just offering acceptance to it, whatever it is. Or if this area could speak and had words, what would it say? Give it a voice right now. And as you listen to what it's saying, how do the words make you feel emotionally? Just welcoming whatever's here and also whatever's not here. Maybe a picture's appearing out of nowhere. If there is, step into the picture. How are you feeling in that picture? Or maybe there's a lid over it all, as if you've blocked it all out and shut it all down. Imagining as if, you know, when you peel the can of peel the lid off the can of peanuts. Imagining right now, taking hold of that lid and lifting it off. What's hiding there? Welcoming whatever's here, whatever's not here. And taking a deep breath in of acceptance. And just flooding this area with acceptance. Now coming to neutral inside of yourself. And finding another area where there may be a little tension or stress or contraction going on or holding or hiding. Locate that area. Take a deep breath in of acceptance, blowing it into that area, flooding that area, letting that area soften and open with your acceptance. And if there were a feeling beginning to arise out of that area, I wonder what that feeling might be. Just welcoming whatever's here or whatever's not here. Might be very quiet. Just bathing it in acceptance. And if this area could speak and had words, what would it say right now? Give it a voice. How do the words make you feel emotionally? Or if there is a picture, step into it. How are you feeling in that picture? If it's showing up, it may not be. If there is a picture, feel with it. Or if there is a lid over the feeling, lift off that lid right now. What's hiding here underneath the lid? Just bathing it in acceptance. Taking a deep breath in of acceptance, flooding that area with acceptance and coming to neutral right now. And finding another area where there may be a little tension or stress or holding or hiding, maybe some sort of contraction going on. Taking a deep breath in, locate that area of acceptance, flood that area with acceptance. Letting it soften and open and be tenderized, marinated. And if there is a feeling beginning to arise out of that area, I wonder what that feeling might be. Just being open to what the body is trying to express. And if this area could speak and had words, what would it say? How does it make you feel emotionally? Or if there's a picture, step into it. Feel what you're feeling in that picture. Or perhaps it feels like there's a locked, closed door. Take a key, unlock that door, open the door. What's hiding here? Just welcoming whatever's here and whatever's not here. And taking a deep breath in of acceptance and flooding that area with acceptance, coming to neutral inside yourself. And if it feels appropriate, saying to your body that you're sorry that you haven't been willing to feel, to be present, to listen. And that starting today, you're going to start opening and being present, listening to what your body and your being has to say. So if that feels appropriate, you might want to say that to your body. And now flooding your body with this acceptance. And the awareness remains spacious, vast, free and endless in front, boundless behind, and spacious and infinite to all sides. We're just resting here, soaking, steeping in this presence as it. And taking another nice deep breath in and sighing it out. And you can open your eyes now into this presence. Taking another nice deep breath in and sighing. And one more nice deep breath in. And sigh it out. And continuing to rest with your eyes open in this presence. And if the eyes have not opened, this is your invitation to open your eyes now. And you can open your eyes now. Now, some of you may have had a very subtle experience, and others of you may have started to really uncover what is the root cause of what's causing the stress in your life. And if you'd like, you can put that in the chat box. Just sharing what it is, the emotions that you uncovered. Some of you may have uncovered quite strong emotions. And if you put them in the chat box, Gabby will be happy to read out the kinds of emotions that are coming up. My prayer is, while you're writing in the chat box, is that you will recognize that this is your own soul calling you home. And it's saying it's time to come home. It's time to clear these old buried issues. It's time to remember who you are. And so I'd love to hear some of the emotions that arose for you. And Gabby, if you'd be willing to share what's showing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So quite a few messages coming in: sorrow, grief and sadness, fear and pressure, shame, holding back, anger, perfectionism, loss of the one who I only counted on, sadness, not to be heard by adults, shame again, helplessness, shame. One person said her dad came up, hunched over feeling, bashed from all sides, blocked, twisted fear and confusion, shame again, sadness, seeking acceptance, not caring enough and feeling irritable, shame again.
Wow.
Sadness.
Shame is usually something that's buried very deep. So I'm kind of amazed that in just this, what I call this little gentle welcome, which is just an experiment really to begin this journey of befriending your body and listening to what's there and opening with what the body wants to share with you. Some of these emotions are very, very deep.
Yeah, also coming up with frustration now, anger again. So there is some other regret. Yeah.
I'm so glad that people are getting real and are beginning this journey to really start to befriend your body, to listen to it, to get present to it. And it's only when you're willing to be present that when we bring these emotions up into the light of consciousness, then the healing can start, because we're aware of it. Otherwise, it's buried deep inside, and it's just doing its dirty work at a level beyond our level of awareness. But by having this decision to begin this journey of listening to your own body and really opening with what's stored there, it signals the body that you're willing to begin your healing journey. And so I pray for all of you that you listen to this call home and that you uncover the vast, boundless presence of your own soul, the peace that's inside, the joy that is there, the love that is your essence. And that, like me, you fall so in love with that you'll clear whatever blocks you, whatever holds you back, whatever shuts you down on any level of being, so that this radiant love that is your essence can live your life. And I'm so grateful. And there's only one reason I'm grateful to COVID. And that's because it used to be you could only get this work when I would travel to your country and we'd have a live in-person seminar. And you'd have to pay to go to a hotel and spend the night, 3 nights there, and, meals and flights, and, everyone would come together in a seminar hall in a hotel. But thankfully, because of COVID, I had to give up my entire international schedule. And for the first time, because of COVID, we put it all online. And so now you can experience the depth of this work. And it's a 3-day immersion where the first day, after I take you into teachings and process work and meditations, in the afternoon, you get partnered with someone and you do a one-to-one. And what's so beautiful, we have journey practitioners supporting the event there in your language, so that it can be done in your language. So if it's German or if it's Estonian or Romanian, whatever the language is, French, it'll be done in your language, Hebrew, and you'll get a cross process and a trainer who speaks that language. If something comes up in the process that you're not comfortable with, you can raise your hand, and a trainer who has been through all 6 courses with me and has completed 45 case studies, a journey practitioner who actually give me my processes. This is while I was on tour, I was getting a journey process once a week. I never want to be so arrogant as to say I've got it all handled. I know that there's more than one cell memory stored inside this body, and I feel it's a privilege to clear whatever obscures me. And so these journey practitioners are there to create an embrace of support with you, a very personal embrace. And on the second day, you will go through the whole teaching of the physical journey, where you'll go on that journey inside your body to specific cellular locations and uncover the actual cell memory stored there and go through that profound process of healing that's being used by medical doctors and hospitals and all around the world. And on the third day, you will undergo the advanced skills. And, one woman was sharing how she felt that she couldn't connect with her daughter anymore. And sometimes there's an unhealthy, almost like umbilical cord of energy that is connecting you in a codependent way that's very unhealthy. And you'll learn how to sever that and allow grace to come to them and grace to come back with you, so that you can dance in your own independence together, in the love, without feeling that dynamic of codependence. And so there are countless little advanced skills that support you in having very in-depth processes. And so that all takes place. So it's highly experiential, and it's not for people of casual interest. It's for people like yourself who really recognize that life is giving you a massive wake-up call, and that now you're ready to roll up your sleeves and dive in and do this profoundly liberating and freeing healing work with yourself. And it is life-changing. So if you feel called, and you have to listen to that, Gabby can share with you where these journey intensives are happening around the world. They're happening on various time zones and in various languages. And so I just pray that if your heart feels called, you'll find a way there, and that you'll come home to the love, the truth, the freedom that is your essence. So I look forward to seeing you again. And until then, a heartfelt namaste. And I turn you over to Gabby.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for this beautiful discovery session tonight. And it truly uncovered or supported people to uncover some of the deeper issues, some of the emotional issues that probably have been there for a very long time. So there are some questions that came up on the in the chat box, and have we been to Hungary before? Actually, we have regular journey intensives online in Hungary. any questions that may have come up for you during this session that you don't know the answer to or don't know where to find the answer, please take a note of support@thejourney.com, the email address support@thejourney.com, and you can write to our team and they will answer any questions that you may have. So that's that. We have our Journey Intensive dates, and I think Chris is going to show us a slide here quickly while I'm talking you through the dates. But we have the next European Journey Intensive happening from 20 to 22nd of April. Now we call it, on our website, we call it a 2-day event, a 2-day online retreat. The third day is a bonus day. Most people stay for the third day and it's not obligatory. So we know that some people can only do Saturday, Sunday, which is why we make the 2 days obligatory, and then the third day you can choose to stay, and most people do, and you can take it also in your own time. So 20 to 22nd is Europe. On the same weekend, I know we've got some German speakers here, is also the German Journey Intensive with Bettina Halifax. So the Brandon teachings will be simultaneously translated and the event takes place in German language. Then the North American event is happening very soon from 6th to 8th of April. And the Australasian one is coming up this weekend. With some additional ones, I saw a lot of Hebrew speakers here in the chat box tonight. So people from Israel, there is a specific, very, very special event for you with Irit Lifshitz from Israel from 2nd to 4th of April. So this is a midweek event in the same way as the German event. So there's Hebrew spoken and Hebrew translation. We have the same with Czech and Slovak language in May, and we have Estonia from 13th to 15th of April. All of the dates are on our website, so please come and join us. I have a free place to give away, number one, and I also wanted to say something a little bit about something we'll do at the beginning of April, and it's called Trauma Awareness Week. We have 3 consecutive evening sessions, the first one being kicked off by Brandon, the second one with me and my colleague Daniel Wagner. We'll talk about trauma. There is the social media, internet, Google, everything is full of trauma. Everybody talks about it. There is very, very few modalities that actually tell you how to clear trauma, how to get to the root cause. And the journey is one of the most powerful of all of them. And so if you feel that what you've heard from Gabor Mate or some other people who talk about trauma, know that the journey can help you. And we'll spend 3 evening sessions on 10, 11, and 12th of April, all specifically designed on trauma. So please come and join us. It's a free event. And if you go to the Journey Intensive, if you've already decided you come and do the Journey Intensive, then this will help you to prepare in the lead up to the Journey Intensive. So that was the Trauma Awareness Week. The online seminars work. I've been doing them since we have been forced into it through COVID, and the benefits are profound, deeply healing, and nothing gets missed by being online. There are some events, the one in Israel, the one in Prague, we call them hybrid events. You have real people there, you have real trainers there, you actually have a seminar room where you are together. There are some countries where this system works really well, and on the main European one, we come together, we offer some various languages, and we'll share all of that with you once you let us know that you want to come and join. The free place, I have been scrolling up and down and tried to get my cursor stop on one name, and the free place is going to a lady called Kathy Kokorve. Kathy Kokorve, My team member Sarah is listening to this, so she will be in touch with you. If you can also just take a little note of support@thejourney.com, just to make sure, in case you don't hear from her in the next couple of days, that you remind her that you've won the free draw of the Journey Intensive from our March discovery session. And I think that brings me to the conclusion of today's session. I thank you so much, first of all, for participating, for writing in, for sharing with us what your challenges are, because it does support Brandon to really tailor make and design the evening for you. And then we just hope that that you are inspired enough, maybe by the people you've heard speaking at the beginning. We have a few more for you at the end of what the journey has done for them in their life. I did my first seminar like this one back in 1996. It has truly changed my life, and I've been around ever since. I fell in love with the work, and I've seen so much change in people's lives, in my own life, in friends around me, and people from around the world. So I'm very, very lucky to have traveled the world with Brandon for all this time, and it does work. So take it from me, take it from the people you hear speaking after this. If you are suffering, if there is pain in your life, if you are low in energy, if you have physical challenges, whatever it is, trust that there is a way. If we get to the root cause, you can clear it out, and you can begin living a life that is more full, more rich, more healthy, more lively, more joyous, more happy. And so all of this, come and join us. We'd love to see you. Our team would love to welcome you. And I hope I see you along the way. Many thanks. Namaste. Lots of love, and see you soon. Thank you. Good night.
My biggest win with the journey was being able to access my deepest emotions and free myself from them. I feel more calm and serene.
I found my true calling, and now today I can help others. I love to make an impact. I love to see transformation in others' lives.
For years and years, I used to feel very lonely, and now I just feel a part of everything. I feel I'm alive.
My biggest win with joining the practitioner program is owning my own life back and stepping out of a severe PTSD.
The acceptance of myself and the self-love, so I don't need others to love me. That's perfectly okay.
Life is different now because of joining the journey, because I just live in so much abundance. You know, I get up every day with a joy for living. I want to go to work. I want to meet other people.
My biggest win was the really deep knowing I actually do have the answers. They are within me.
There is a lot more setting and how I'm feeling about things.
I feel more connected to life. It's not an easy path for anyone to do healing work, but it's profound.
One, I'm more balanced. Two, I'm more grateful for those persons who helped me in this life. I enrich my life every day with this wisdom.
It's priceless. There's no better, bigger investment we can do in time, money, or energy.
I was a mess before I started with this work, and I healed from lots of different types of abuse, and that's a miracle.
My life now, because of the journey, is transformed. I have confidence. Even if I struggle, it's just I have to let go. It's step after step, and it's no danger at the end.
My biggest win is myself. It doesn't have to be anything else. You can be fulfilled even if you only have yourself.
It's more peaceful. I've learned to process emotions. I learned to be more self-aware, and I've learned when you need to ask for help.
I've been able to have a really deep, long, soulful look at myself, and I've been able to uncover, recover, and heal long-term wounds.
My biggest win being a journey practitioner has been becoming a therapist.
and a healer, because that's what I never imagined it to be.
I'm living from a place of freedom and choice. I'm really conscious in every moment. Any sentence I say, it's coming from just pure goodness.
I feel more authentic, wearing much less of a mask. It's about being you and feeling good about it.
I can embrace all that is. I'm here to share my life, my joy. Now I can just be me.
My own journey of healing from cancer is an inspiration for others. I get to work with amazing people, see amazing transformations in their life.
My biggest win is to be yourself. Just be there for other people, to help other people heal, and just to be there.
I know that no matter what comes, I have the right instrument to deal with whatever emotions every situation will bring to me.
It really has helped me come back to a place of wholeness. I feel like completely authentic. I feel genuine. I feel like I'm in my body.
My big win is my courage and my physical healing, my emotional healing. But in one word, I could say freedom.
The journey is all about releasing all of the emotions that create the illness. I was healed physically within 6 weeks, while I had been in pain over 3.5 years.
Thank you.